Hello, board students. It's time again for writing tips on video clips. Tip number 9, don't be an ethnocentric.
Hi everyone, welcome to my presentation. 6 ways to fail your anthropology paper by being ethnocentric.
Excuse me?
Yes?
Why would we want to fail our anthropology paper?
You wouldn't. I was being ironic.
What do you mean by ironic?
You know, using a meaning against expectations for a humorous or other rhetorical effect.
Are you sure that's what ironic means? Because that would mean many of the examples in the song "Isn't It Ironic?" aren't really ironic at all.
Yes, I'm sure about my definition. So anyway, 6 ways to fail your anthropology paper. Number 1. Apply your own cultural categories in an evaluative way. For example, suppose you were in a movie theater and all the kids in the theater were jumping up and down and cheering the heroes and booing the bad guys. If you described their behavior as disruptive or wrote as if it is normal to focus on the movie, you could be being ethnocentric, because in many parts of the world, moviegoing is primarily a social activity, and kids who watch the movies are expected to participate enthusiastically. A second way to be ethnocentric in your paper is to use a false objectivity to position your analysis as more real or significant than the views of the people you are learning from. For example, claiming that your analysis constitutes scientific facts, but their views are mere beliefs, is ethnocentric. Another ethnocentric error students fall into is overemphasizing institutionalized norms and standards.
Excuse me, what are institutionalized norms?
They are like the rules people in a particular situation say they live by.
So what do you mean we might overemphasize that?
Well, a lot of times students take the rules people tell them for the facts without observed confirmation. For example, a person studying an organization might just look at the organizational chart and write that the boss runs the organization, but careful fieldwork might reveal that actually the administrative assistant makes all the important day-to-day decisions. Or you might write that ladies go to the tanning salon to make themselves more beautiful. It's a logical assumption, but careful analysis of interviews might reveal that it's also, or even mostly, a social situation.
Hey, that example was used last week in my video.
Yes, it was a good example. It fits here too.
Yes, but you did not cite me. The consequences of failing to cite sources in your anthropology paper are so terrible, I do not even dare to describe them.
Sorry, it won't happen again. Where was I? A fourth way to fail your paper by being ethnocentric is to apply a priori categories in your analysis.
Excuse me, what are a priori category?
A priori refers to conclusions that are formed beforehand without examination or analysis. For example, some scholars go into every cultural situation with a small toolkit of concepts like race, gender, or class, and no matter what the subject matter, they make the data fit into those categories.
But one of the videos told us to think small and focus on a particular aspect of the situation, like gender, class, or race.
Yes, that's a good idea. But the thing you focus on and your conclusions about it should arise from your data, not be something you choose in advance of your data. Okay, failure tip number 5, over-dichotomization.
Excuse me, what does over-dichotomization mean?
A dichotomy is the division of any phenomenon into 2 parts. A lot of people analyze data in terms of mutually opposed categories, like East versus West, us versus them, or easy versus hard. That's great when the data actually do fall into binary categories. But sometimes data falls into categories of 3 or 4 or more. Your analysis should reflect what's in the data. And our 6th and final common technique for failing your anthropology paper by being ethnocentric is committing the referential fallacy.
Excuse me, what is the referential fallacy?
The referential fallacy consists of taking what one's informants say about the world as facts about the world, instead of facts about how your informants understand the world, in culturally shaped ways.
I don't quite get that.
When the people you interview tell you about the world, they are sharing a worldview. Their statements may or may not reflect the wider reality. Since you are doing an ethnographic paper, you want to know about their worldview, not reality, so it all works out. And luckily, you had a video earlier that discussed how to analyze interviews the right way. Well, that's my presentation. If you follow these 6 simple tips, you too can fail your next anthropology paper.
Excuse me, I still don't quite understand why we want to fail our anthropology paper.
Jenny, just do the opposite of everything I said today so you can get an A.
Excuse me, could you just give the presentation over again without the irony so I can see exactly what you mean?
No, I don't think so. Goodbye. Thank you for coming to my presentation.
Excuse me, I have a lot more questions. Will any of this be on the test? Are these all true examples? Can I make an appointment to discuss whether or not I'm being ethnocentric? Hello? Where did you go?